my grandfather was, such an iconic, incredible performer. He was so, beyond amazing.
With a voice that could shake stadiums and a presence that redefined stardom, Elvis Presley didn't just leave behind music. He left behind a legacy, one that echoes through every generation since he first walked the halls of Graceland. For millions around the world, Graceland is more than a mansion. It's a living monument to the man who became the king of rock and roll. But in 2023, that legacy took on a new meaning. The sudden and heartbreaking passing of Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's only child, sent shockwaves through fans and the Presley family alike. She had carried the torch for decades, protecting Graceland, honoring her father's memory, and keeping his story alive. With her gone, questions swirled. What would become of Graceland? Who would take over? And most importantly, would Elvis's legacy continue to shine as brightly as ever? Enter Riley Keough, an accomplished actress, a mother, and now, unexpectedly, the guardian of a musical empire.
It was incredibly emotional. I think when your loved ones pass away, typically there's, you have some videos or maybe voicemail.
As Elvis's oldest grandchild, Riley didn't ask for the spotlight, but it found her. And she stepped into that role with grace, purpose, and a deep sense of duty. "My grandfather was such an iconic, incredible performer," Riley shared in a recent interview. "I certainly wouldn't want to compare myself to him because he was so beyond amazing." Her humility only deepens the emotional connection fans feel, not just to her, but to the entire Presley legacy. And it's that authenticity that makes this next chapter in Graceland's story feel so powerful. In 2023, Riley made a move no one expected. For the first time ever, Graceland opened its doors for a live, televised Christmas special, featuring intimate performances from inside the mansion by artists like Lana Del Rey, John Legend, and Alanis Morissette. It was a moment of both celebration and tribute, an inside look at the private heart of the Presley home, wrapped in holiday spirit and musical magic. It's clear, Riley isn't just preserving history, she's building a bridge between generations, between Elvis's world and ours. So what's changed inside Graceland? What's stayed sacred? And how is Riley honoring the past while shaping the future? Let's step inside the gates of Graceland and find out. Before it became one of the most visited homes in America, Graceland was simply Elvis Presley's sanctuary, a quiet retreat nestled in Memphis, Tennessee. He bought the mansion in 1957, just as his career was exploding, for a modest $100,500. Back then, it wasn't a museum, it was home. Inside these walls, Elvis raised his daughter, Lisa Marie, welcomed friends at all hours of the night, and celebrated birthdays, holidays, and every moment in between. The iconic Jungle Room? That wasn't built for tourists. It was his recording space, his creative escape. Every corner of Graceland still breathes with the rhythm of his life. After Elvis's passing in 1977, the Presley family faced an emotional and financial crossroads. Maintaining Graceland was costly and deeply personal. But in 1982, Priscilla Presley made the bold decision to open the mansion to the public. It was a way to share Elvis's life, not just his legend, with the world. That decision changed everything. Today, Graceland welcomes over 600,000 visitors a year. Fans travel across the globe to walk the same halls Elvis once did, to peek inside the kitchen where he made his famous peanut butter and banana sandwiches, and to pay their respects at his final resting place, in the meditation garden. But for Riley Keough, Graceland is more than a museum. It's a time capsule of her childhood. "There were a few times that we slept there," Riley recalled. "The tours would start in the morning, and we would hide upstairs until they were over. Security would bring us breakfast. It's actually such a great memory. We'd order sausage and biscuits and wait until the tourists finished." It's in those quiet moments, hidden away above the tour path, that we get a glimpse of what Graceland really is. Not just a national landmark, but a deeply personal family home. Even now, the upstairs remains private. Elvis's bedroom, once Lisa Marie's and now Riley's, is off-limits. It's the one part of Graceland that has never been shown to the public. And perhaps that's the way it should stay. A sacred space, preserved for the family, untouched by flash photography. Because behind the velvet ropes and gold records, Graceland is still what it always was, a home. When Riley Keough stepped into the role of sole trustee of Graceland in 2023, it wasn't just a legal title. It was the weight of a legacy passed down through 3 generations. Following the tragic and unexpected death of her mother, Lisa Marie Presley, Riley became the official steward of one of America's most treasured cultural landmarks. But for Riley, this role is about more than responsibility. It's about love, it's about family, and it's about honoring the memory of the man whose music changed the world. Riley's connection to Elvis has always run deep. She may have been born over a decade after his passing, but his presence shaped her life. From childhood visits to Graceland, to private moments surrounded by his music and memorabilia, Elvis was more than an icon. He was Grandpa. In a beautiful tribute to that connection, Riley named her first child Tupelo, after the small Mississippi town where Elvis was born. It wasn't a flashy gesture, and it wasn't for headlines. It was personal. It was sacred. A quiet promise to keep his roots alive. But Riley's life hasn't only revolved around her famous lineage. She's made a name for herself in the entertainment world entirely on her own terms. With her breakout role as the lead singer in Daisy Jones and the Six, Riley earned an Emmy nomination and critical acclaim for her portrayal of a troubled, magnetic rock star in a fictional 1970s band. The show drew comparisons to Fleetwood Mac, and Riley's performance stood out for its rawness, its truth. She wasn't just playing a musician, she became one. And yet, through it all, she never lost sight of her roots. Fame in her own right didn't distract her from her family's heritage. It deepened her understanding of it. "It's such an honor," Riley has said of overseeing Graceland. "I feel incredibly lucky to be able to protect something that means so much, not just to my family, but to people all over the world." The world sees Elvis as a legend. Riley sees him as family. And that difference matters. As she now bridges the past and present, balancing red carpets with reverence, Riley Keough is proving that legacies aren't just inherited. They're nurtured. With both humility and heart, she's stepping into her grandfather's shadow, not to outshine it, but to preserve it for a new generation. On a crisp December evening in 2023, the world got to experience something never before seen: a live televised Christmas special from inside Graceland. For the first time in history, cameras were allowed into the mansion to capture an intimate musical celebration, hosted and produced by Riley Keough herself. Titled simply Christmas at Graceland, the special was a dazzling blend of nostalgia and star power. Performers like Lana Del Rey, John Legend, Alanis Morissette, Casey Musgraves, and Post Malone took to makeshift stages inside the very rooms Elvis once celebrated the holidays with his family. The magic wasn't just in the music, it was in the atmosphere. The mansion was dressed in its full holiday splendor. Rich velvet garlands draped over the staircase, twinkling lights casting a soft glow over the white piano in the music room, and a towering Christmas tree in the living room decorated in vintage 1950s style. Every ornament, every light, seemed to echo a memory. Riley shared her heart behind the project in a moving statement. "My family and I are elated to open the doors to Graceland in this first-of-its-kind special, with intimate musical performances drawing inspiration from my grandfather's cherished Christmases in Memphis. Viewers will experience the magic that is Christmas at Graceland." That magic wasn't just performative, it was palpable. Viewers weren't just watching a concert, they were being welcomed into the Presley family's most sacred space during its most sacred season. The performers themselves added to the sense of reverence. Lana Del Rey shared photos from her visit, including sweet moments between her niece and Riley's daughter, Tupelo, capturing candid joy inside the historic walls. It was a celebration of generations, both musical and familial. The Christmas special created a rare window into a world few had ever seen. While Graceland has long been open to the public, this was different. This was personal. This was Riley extending a hand and saying, "Come see what Christmas really meant to my grandfather." It was more than an event. It was an offering. And for millions watching, it was a once-in-a-lifetime glimpse into the spirit of Elvis Presley, brought to life by the granddaughter now carrying his light. Behind the glow of Graceland's chandeliers and the sparkle of holiday lights lies a far more complex story, one of family, grief, and the immense burden that comes with legacy. In January 2023, Lisa Marie Presley's sudden passing shocked the world. To fans, she was Elvis's daughter, his living link to today. But to Riley, she was simply mom. And losing her, just months after giving birth to her first child, was a pain few could imagine. What followed was a media whirlwind. Legal disputes emerged surrounding Lisa Marie's trust, particularly concerning her mother, Priscilla Presley, and half-brother Navarone Garibaldi, a musician born from Priscilla's later relationship with Marco Garibaldi. Despite not being related to Elvis by blood, Navarone was named as a partial beneficiary of Lisa Marie's trust. Many fans were surprised. Some questioned it. But behind the headlines was a story of protection and compassion. It later emerged that Priscilla had discovered Marco had lied about his identity for years, changing his last name from Garcia to Garibaldi to sound Italian. When Navarone confronted him about his Brazilian heritage, his father cruelly responded, "Lose my number." With that fracture, Priscilla stepped in, determined to ensure her son would not be left behind. Riley, understanding both the personal and public stakes, reached a quiet settlement. She maintained her position as the sole trustee of Graceland, but honored her grandmother's wishes, allowing Navarone a small share of Lisa Marie's estate and granting Priscilla a consulting role. Rather than escalate the conflict, Riley chose Grace. She is literally the sweetest, kindest, most amazing human in the world, Navarone later said of his half-sister. And it's clear, Riley's strength doesn't come from demanding control, but from her ability to hold space for others, to protect the Presley name without tearing the family apart. Even amidst private loss and public pressure, she has handled the Presley estate with rare maturity. The family's goal remains clear: to preserve Elvis's legacy with authenticity and dignity. As Riley herself said, "At the end of the day, all Priscilla wants is to love and protect Graceland and the Presley family." Still, questions linger. With Riley now firmly in charge, what direction will she take Graceland in the years ahead? What parts of the story will she choose to reveal or protect? One thing is certain. Behind the gates of Graceland, the legacy is not just alive. It's fiercely guarded by a family that has weathered storms no one ever sees. As Graceland enters a new chapter under Riley Keough's care, one question resounds. Will anything really change? The answer lies between tradition and transformation. Officially, Riley has made clear she intends to continue preserving Graceland exactly as her grandmother and mother did. In a People interview, she said her goal is simply to preserve our family home, ensuring it remains both sacred and accessible. But behind the scenes, there's been significant action. In mid-2024, a fraudulent $3.8 million foreclosure attempt on the estate was blocked in court. Riley fought it off, affirming her authority while protecting Graceland's continuity. That said, the possibility of gradual changes remains on the table, especially for things long kept under wraps. For over 4 decades, the upstairs of Graceland, including Elvis's bedroom, later Lisa Marie's, has been off-limits. Recently, Riley hinted that while the room will not open to public tours, she may allow limited narrative storytelling about those spaces, offering glimpses, not full access. In her Oprah tour, Riley stopped short of promising any grand openings, but she emphasized that Graceland is a living home, never just a frozen museum. One possibility Riley has floated: curated digital exhibits like virtual tours or immersive audio biographies that walk visitors through Elvis's creative process. That kind of innovation would preserve the mansion's heart while making it more meaningful for new generations. Still, the core remains unchanged. The iconic jungle room, the sunken pool, the stained glass, and family heirlooms, all of it preserved as Elvis left it. Riley knows that authenticity is Graceland's greatest appeal. The question is, how does one balance honoring the past while engaging with the future? Riley seems intent on walking that line, keeping the mansion a home, yet offering new ways for fans to connect. So, will Graceland look the same tomorrow? Probably. And that's her design. But how fans experience it may shift, bridging the nostalgic magic of yesterday with the immersive technologies of today and beyond. Stepping through the gates of Graceland is like stepping into another world, one where time stands still, yet history continues to hum softly in the background. The mansion itself is exactly as Elvis left it. The same stained glass peacocks flank the doorway between the living room and the music room. The white grand piano still gleams in the corner. The jungle room, with its shag carpet ceiling and Polynesian furniture, is untouched, eccentric and iconic, just like the man who designed it. But Graceland today isn't just a preserved home. It's an immersive experience. Across the street, visitors can explore Elvis Presley's Memphis, a sprawling complex filled with Elvis's legendary cars, jumpsuits, and personal mementos. There's an exhibit on his military service, a tribute to his gospel roots, and even a private jet, complete with gold-plated seatbelt buckles. And just steps away, the guest house at Graceland offers fans the chance to stay overnight in Elvis-inspired luxury. It's not just a place to sleep. It's an extension of the Presley experience wrapped in Southern charm. For fans, the highlight remains the meditation garden. Quiet, reverent, a place where Elvis, his parents, and Lisa Marie now rest. Visitors leave flowers, notes, tears, gratitude. Graceland is no longer just a museum. It's a living monument, a place that remembers the past while embracing the future. Under Riley Keough's guidance, it continues to evolve, but its heart remains the same. If you've never been, it's more than a trip. It's a pilgrimage. And if you have, you know, it's never quite the same twice. Because at Graceland, the story isn't finished.